Hi there, this is Jonathan Ratchik, a partner at Kramer, Dunleavy Ratchik. Today I want to talk about one of the more difficult areas of personal injury law, wrongful death cases. These cases involve families who have lost a loved one because of someone else's negligence or wrongdoing. And certainly, while no lawsuit can ever replace a life or the loss of a loved one, it does provide a path forward and toward accountability, closure, and potentially financial stability. So, a wrongful death case arises when a person dies because of someone else failed to act with reasonable care or engaged in conduct that was negligent, reckless, or sometimes even intentional. It's not just a legal claim, it's a recognition that a life was cut short because someone didn't do what they were supposed to do. And in New York, wrongful death cases are governed by statute, and they're designed to compensate family members who have been left behind and who depended on the person who passed away. So wrongful death cases, they arise in many different contexts. And again, it's really any personal injury case that results in a death, right? So you can have a wrongful death case that arises out of a motor vehicle collision, right? If there's a car crash or a truck accident or a pedestrian knockdown and it results in a fatality, that can be a wrongful death action. Certainly they arise in medical malpractice action, whether it's misdiagnoses, surgical errors, medication errors, failures to monitor. They are oftentimes arise in the context of nursing home negligence, right? Whether it's from a fall, an infection, dehydration, malnutrition, untreated or improperly treated pressure ulcers. These can all result in the untimely or unfortunate death of a resident. That can be a wrongful death case. Construction and workplace accidents, right? Falls from heights, unsafe equipment, lack of proper safety devices, even a dangerous premises, right? An unsafe premises. A fall in a staircase could lead to a wrongful death case, okay, depending on the nature and extent of the injuries, okay? Defective products, criminal acts. Again, really any underlying personal injury lawsuit that results in a death, that can be a wrongful death lawsuit, okay? And in every one of these cases, the central question is, did someone's negligence or wrongdoing cause or contribute, or was it a substantial factor in causing someone's death? Okay, so who can bring a New York or a wrongful death claim in New York? This is one of the more misunderstood parts of the law. New York does not allow just any family member to bring a wrongful death lawsuit. Okay, only the personal representative of the decedent's estate can bring the lawsuit. Okay, and so this means one of two people. If the decedent passed away with a will, the executor of the estate can bring the lawsuit. If the person passed away without a will, then there needs to be someone appointed, and a representative of the estate needs to be appointed. This person will be called the administrator or administratrix of the estate. They can bring the lawsuit. That's it. If there is no duly appointed representative for the estate, a wrongful death lawsuit cannot be brought. Okay, so, and that is a proceeding that needs to take place in a court of law. Okay, so generally speaking, the person who brings, if there's a will, the will is going to identify and nominate someone to be the executor, or it's going to designate someone to be the executor of the decedent's estate. That person can bring a wrongful death lawsuit. If there is no will, the administrator or administratrix is commonly either a surviving spouse, children, parents, or in some cases, perhaps other dependents or other family members. Okay. And again, if there's no representative appointed in a will, the surviving family members have to bring a proceeding in surrogate's court to have someone appointed to be the administrator or administratrix of the estate before the case can proceed. Okay. And this is really sometimes the first step where a law firm will help a family through this process, is helping someone get nominated to get appointed so that they can even start the proceedings to bring a lawsuit. The damages that one can recover in a wrongful death lawsuit in New York are very different than the damages that you can recover in other lawsuits, and certainly in wrongful death lawsuits in other cases. Okay, so in any type of case, you can recover the damages sustained by the decedent, right? So for the decedent's past pain and suffering, conscious past pain and suffering, medical expenses, lost earnings, maybe pre-impact terror, loss of enjoyment of life, that is compensable. Okay, but this is where things change when it start talking about what future damages are recoverable, okay? Because sadly, New York is one of, I think, one other state in the United States that does not allow for the recovery of the surviving family member's grief, loss of companionship, emotional loss, the emotional devastation of losing a loved one, okay? That is not compensable in New York. For as long as I've been practicing, and it's almost 30 years now, we have been trying to change that law in New York so that surviving family members can recover damages for their grief, for their emotional loss. It has not happened yet. The bill has gotten, I think, to the governor's desk the last 3 years in a row. Every year it gets vetoed. So the law sadly remains that these types of emotional damages, again, grief, loss of companionship, are not recoverable. What are recoverable are what we refer to as pecuniary damages, okay, financial damages. That is the financial support that the decedent was providing to surviving family members, okay? So that can be financial support, household services, loss of parental guidance for minor children, funeral and burial expenses, medical expenses. But again, they have to be pecuniary damages incurred by the surviving family members and distributees of the decedent's estate, okay? Those are the only damages that are recoverable. And it's unfortunate because when you lose a loved one, certainly when it's unexpected and when it's caused by someone else's wrongdoing, you want to be able to compensate. That person is morally entitled to compensation for their loss, for their grief. And unfortunately, New York just does not allow for that to happen. And it's really, again, one of the many reasons why we've been pushing for reform of this really just archaic and devastating law, the Grieving Families Act, to expand the nature of damages that are recoverable in New York. But again, New York unfortunately remains one of the most restrictive states in the country when it comes to compensating wrongful death victims. Summing up, when a family member loses someone, the emotional impact is overwhelming. It is devastating. And the financial impact can be just as worse, okay? Especially when the surviving family members, or if the decedent was the wager, was the one supporting the family, okay, or the caregiver, and is the backbone of the household. So wrongful death cases, we can help surviving family members perhaps replace the lost income that would have been earned by the decedent, cover the medical expenses that maybe the family is left with, secure their financial stability, and ultimately hold negligent parties accountable for the harm that they cause, okay? Make sure that what happened isn't just swept under the rug, okay? It's not about putting a price on a human life, which cannot be done. It's about protecting the living and demanding accountability from those who have caused this loss in the first place. If you've lost a loved one because of someone else's negligence, you do not have to navigate this alone. Wrongful death cases are complex, they are emotional, they are time sensitive, and estates need to be set up and the law needs to be applied carefully and strategically so that surviving family members can get appropriate compensation and justice for their loss. So at Kramer, Dunleavy, and Ratchik, we stand with families during what are arguably the most difficult times in people's lives, and we'll investigate what happened. We hope to uncover the truth and certainly fight for justice that your loved one deserves. So call us, talk to us, and let us help you. Again, Jonathan Ratchik, Kramer, Dunleavy, and Ratchik, real bow ties, real results.